surviving our broken pieces. Y'all, this I'm telling you right now. First, let me say this: I don't own the right to this song. Y'all know how Facebook be doing. Facebook will silence your whole podcast. So listen, I'm not able to see who's on, but what I will say, y'all make sure y'all tag some few people in, let them know that we are live, surviving our broken pieces. I have a guest speaker on today, on tonight, y'all. Listen, and I just believe God's gonna do something, speak through her towards a lot of people, for a lot of people. I believe that God does things, just for only for His glory. God do things only for His glory. So, but without further ado, let me introduce y'all my speaker. Her name is Miss Alice. Excuse me, Alexis Lewis. She's the founder of the Special Angel Foundation. So I'm gonna bring her on the podcast, y'all, and I'm gonna let her tell you her story. Hey, good
Hi
evening.
everyone. Hi.
Good evening again. This is I will introduce you again. Her name is Alexis Lewis. So I'm gonna release the platform to you. I'm gonna go to Facebook and start tagging a few people so you can go ahead on and tell them a little bit about your story.
Here goes. For many that's on this live that may know me, you know me as Shinka. And for many that may know part of my story. Part of my story is being a young mother. And here I go already, y'all. I'm sorry. Being a young mother who lost basically my family, the family that I created, because the family that made me stood behind me through this. My first tragedy took place in 2015 on Father's Day. My first son, they called me to the hospital and they pronounced my first son deceased. Now, being a child who grew up in church, being a child who knew God, I didn't understand anymore. And when I say I didn't understand, all of my faith got shaken. It was like, God, I prayed. I did what you asked. I did what you wanted me to do. But the main thing, all I wanted was for my baby to come home. And prior to my son passing, a pastor prophesied to me and his father and told us he was going to be okay. Now, God's okay and my okay was two different okays. I was looking for my okay. My son going home. All right, God. I'm doing what you said, dude. We on the road now. We get something going. God gave me a dream a week before my son passed, and the dream was my son passed, and I woke up.
Mhm.
No, that's not. I'm now lost. Like that's the devil talking to me. That ain't God telling me my son gonna pass. But when my son passed that morning, they called and they couldn't reach me. So they reached out to my mom and she finally got a hold of us. I ran from the Ronald McDonald House to the hospital. No
Wow.
shoes on. I ran. But when I got to the hospital, you would have thought I was going to crumble or crash. The security guard looked at me and he nodded for me to go ahead. As I entered into the hospital to head to my son, my feet felt like they weren't on the ground no more.
Wow.
But the hospital was lit up bright. And I'm still like, "God, why I can't crash? Why you doing this to me? I can't let it go. As bad as I want to, my son is up here dead and I can't even tell his father." And he
Wow.
said, "Because I told you he was going to be all right." My family got there. Everybody was there. Everybody looking at me like, this her baby. She's not crashing because he didn't allow me to crash.
Wow.
Got through, got past his pastor. And it was like a message from his pastor. I told you he was going to be okay, but it wasn't your okay. You wanted him there with you, but I had better plans for him.
Yeah,
And in
God.
the midst of that, what I learned from it was I brought you closer to me. Because before my kids, I knew God. I was raised in church, but I became rebellious to it. I want to be outside. I want to do what everybody else doing. I want to be a follow the leader, not realizing I was a leader for something else. We get past my son's passing. Me and my kid's father, we start having problems. And being in a young relationship, not understanding what verbal abuse or what abuse was anyway, we just was trying to make it, not realizing we both was going through something.
Wow.
Along came our second son, Javar Jr. So I'm like, okay, well, everybody giving me their side. Everybody telling me, well, God gave you another baby for a reason, and it's a boy. And my son came, and he came with the same issues my first son did. The
Wow.
only difference was he was a little bit more verbal and mobilized than my first son.
Mm.
So we started to go through the seizures and being told what he couldn't do. This is where here I go. I'm looking at the doctors and I'm telling the doctors who I believe in. This is what I'm saying out my mouth. But it's like my heart had to believe. I'm telling the doctors who I believe in, I know my son's gonna be okay. Who I trust in, I know my son's gonna be all right. But yet I'm still letting these doctors shake my faith. And God is still sitting back, saying to me, once again, I gave you this baby, and you're not trusting me. You're trusting man again. The doctors would come, well, Javar's never going to walk. Javar is never going to eat. Javar is never going to talk. They kept me in the hospital for 3.5 months. Wouldn't let me feed
Wow.
my baby. I was sneaking food into him. And the last time the doctor told me, he said, well, I'm going to let you take him home, but he has to go home on hospice.
Wow.
Now, the type of person that I am, I'm going to try to find the best in the situation before I look at the worst. Hospice, of course, it means he's going home to die. Hospice to me was that's it. You just basically telling me I'm gonna lose my baby. Made me sign a do not resuscitate to take him home.
Wow.
But I did everything I could to get that little boy home. And when they released him to me, the doctor said, he looked me in my face, he said, he's not gonna make it downstairs.
Wow.
Once again, I knew my face. I shook his hand. I said, well, thank you, but let us deal with that. We got my baby home. When we left the hospital, the doctors would not even turn and look at us because they wanted my baby to stop breathing before I left to say, I told you so. We got home. 2 days later, he called. And Javar Jr. was in the background hollering, eating, and carrying on. He said, well, I thought I was calling to find out that you was planning a funeral.
Wow.
So no, sir. He's strong, stronger than ever. Javar Jr. got about three, and that's when they started to tell me about his heart problems. Here I go with my talk to God again. God, I'm doing everything that you told me to do. I'm trying. I'm trying to build a family. I'm trying to be what I thought was the right way of what everybody else telling me instead of listening to what he's telling me. And my world came crumbling when they told me my baby had heart disease. I said, not again. Not the
Mm.
same. Not the same rodeo again. My boy. The doctor said, yes, ma'am. So we're gonna start him on this medicine, that medicine, 7 different medicines
Wow.
for a 3-year-old, which they couldn't understand Every medicine they gave, it wouldn't work the way that they wanted it to work. His potassium was so high that it could kill a grown man.
Wow.
I said, okay, well, God, I'm going to take the small blessings. If it could kill a grown man, then that means my baby is here because of you.
Yep, that's it.
I get strong back in. I'm still talking to him. I'm still steadfast into what his great grandma, what grandmas, everybody calling me praying. Then I come along with Malachi, my third boy. I said, well, God, you done gave me another boy. So maybe this little boy is the little boy that's going to give me my peace. Yeah, he gave me my peace. That was my sunshine. But at a month old, they checked Malachi and told me he had the same heart trouble.
Wow.
So now here I am with two babies with heart problems. I said, Lord, at this point, I'm saying, Lord, you don't like me. I know you don't like me. I don't know what it is about me. You just don't love me or something. I'm talking to families at the hospital. I'm jealous, honestly, because all these people going home with their babies or they coming in for mild stuff and they complaining and don't even know I'm sitting here wishing that I could go home, wishing that I could take my baby home. Fast forwarding to when their dad passed. Gerard passed away from a car accident. I felt like my world had shattered then because we came together for our kids. We may have not gotten along as individuals, but when it came to our kids, we were parents that rocked out. I cried out then, God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with two babies who have heart problems? A little girl. It's going to be hard for me. He said, no, it's not. I built you for this walk. You got through two deaths, which, not sorry, back up. I lost a little girl as well. I lost her at 2 weeks old to see it.
Mm,
I'm there like, God, why am I losing my kids? I'm a person who loves children. I'm a person who have kept the community kids. So me out of all people, I'm believing that I could birth a million kids because I love kids. He said, well, I wanted you to birth kids to show you that you could have kids. But I wanted to birth life into you that you could help other people get through this.
mm,
Being the face in a city and people, they know God, but yet some of the Christians didn't even know what to say to me. I couldn't even go to my mama. I couldn't even go to my daddy. I didn't, these people can't fix what I know has to be fixed. I have to go to him myself and talk to him. I have to sit down myself. This is not nobody else's battle but me and God. I sat down one day and I cried. I cried my heart out. And I told him, I said, I can't do this. I can't take it. I've buried four kids and a father, and I wanted to commit suicide.
mm,
Having a voice that's so calm sounds just like God to say, it's okay. Go through with it. Take your life. You'll see your kids. Go through with it. But remembering coming up in church and knowing if you take your life, you'll never see them again. I had to shake it. And I knew then, God, I got to get closer to you because he's going to attack my life even harder for what you were preparing me for. I sat down and said, God, I got to do something. I got to brew something up. My world has failed, and people are expecting me to fail. He said, not what I want. you to focus on people anymore. That's been the problem. You focus on people too long that I need you to focus on me.
Wow.
Remember how when your son passed away and you got to the fire station and you couldn't crash? That was me carrying you to keep you from crashing. Remember when your baby boy passed and you was at the river wanting to kill yourself and you couldn't go through with it? That was me keeping you because it was something I need for you to go and do now. Remember when these people told you your kids was gonna be okay? That was me letting them know to let you know I have them. You went through the torment of watching them children go through things that you couldn't control. So my main subject to you, Alexis, was for you to see that when it's out of your hands, you gotta let it go.
Wow.
So I let go and I allowed the world to see me for me. Let them see my kids. I allowed Malachi to have a funeral being carried by a horse and carriage down South Street. I let the world see my love for my children. And burying my kids birthed the life into me to help other parents with special needs. It birthed the life into me to be an advocate for special needs. Because being a mom who went and stood before teachers, stood before doctors, who told me my baby would never eat by mouth, and I went home and I prayed about it. And before my son left here, he could pick up a fork and eat by mouth.
My God.
Before him leaving here, I also was able to get him into school, something they told me he would never do. I didn't want no praise for none of it because I knew exactly where it came from. So when people around me say, I don't believe in God, or how can you not? When I'm a living witness, I'm walking proof. I should have been in the institute four times by now, five. I should have been dead
Wow.
because inside of me died when my kids died. So getting to what pushed me to coming with the Special Angels Foundation, I wanted the world to know how much my kids meant the world to me. And I wanted my daughter to see no matter how crooked the crown may get, we always fix it and keep going. The Special Angels Foundation was founded on my babies to go into the community and uplift moms who are ashamed. It's okay you have an autistic baby. It's okay you have a nonverbal child. It's okay you have a child with grand mal seizures. But to sit there and allow the devil to attack you to believe, oh, I don't want nobody to see this, or I don't want nobody. That's what the world they want. They want to criticize you. But it's moms like me and people like me who will stand up for you because I've been there. This is not something that I went and studied in a book. This is something I walked through myself. Being prepared to knew that my kids was going to leave me and didn't know how to sit down and tell my family. But the doctor told me 6 months. Well, the doctor told me the left side of the heart wasn't flowing right. These are things I had to go lay on and pray to God. Can you just give me a little bit more life with them? And I can always look back to say it won't nobody but God. Because
Wow.
the doctors thought medications could fix my kids. So my kids were just like a little medication trial. Let me try this and see if it'll fix it. Let me try that to see if it'll fix it.
Mm.
When reality, it wasn't for them to fix. And it had became to that point where after praying and talking with God so many times that I would go sit back at the tables and tell them, that's it. I don't want you to do nothing else. If it's meant for him to leave here, let me take him home and love him until they leave. And God answered my prayers to let me take each one of them home besides my oldest son, to love them until they left me. Going through that, it really made the raw and ugly of me. It did. But it built me to want to be the super mom that I was being for them, to be the super advocate for the world, if I could. Because people don't understand what a special needs mom goes through behind closed doors. People don't know the cries, the whys, the wishing my child could do what your child did. To hear a mom say her active 3-year-old gets on her nerves,
Mm.
you should be blessed that he gets on your nerves. Because I pray a million times that I had mine to even worry me. When I hear a mom be like, girl, I just wish. No, you don't wish. Because while you wishing he would stop or you wishing he would shut up, I'm wishing upon a cold piece of cinder block that I could have my baby back. When people look at me, oh, you strong, girl, you strong. Sometimes when you don't have no other choice but to be strong, what else can you do? What else can you do?
Wow.
But when you look at me and say that I'm strong, understand I'm not strong off of my own strength. I'm not strong off of just getting up and saying, oh, she's a superhero. No. Or Alexis superhero. No. It's them bare moments, these wet faces, these cries, and these, God, please, can you help me to make it to tomorrow? Can you help me get through today? It's these days where you see me get on TikTok and make a dance or two and don't know probably 5 minutes before I did that I cried
Wow.
from missing my child. But I knew one thing that I wanted to do after losing my kids was live, because they taught me that life was precious. And at one point in time, I didn't believe that. I didn't care to live or die. I didn't care to nothing. But God took me through a storm where you see how the trees lean. I was leaning on life. Like, God, I can't handle this. These blows, you killing me. And he
Wow.
said, no, I'm not killing you. I'm building you up. Because it's a world out there that I want you to get my point across to. I'm the way maker. I'll make a way. I'm the one who I've seen you through this. For the ones that prayed for me, thank you. For the ones that were there for me, thank you. But it was something that I had to draw closer to myself. I had to want it. So he bent me down on my knee to get me there. Everybody prayed for me, but it was still, I want her. She has to do this. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, to wake her up to see. Once I have awakened her, then I know she can go do what I've called her to do. Now, of course, wanting to be in the crew, hanging out, want to be like everybody else. Then I woke up to realize it wasn't meant for me to be like everybody else. Because when he called me to do something, it was totally different from what everybody else was doing. If my story
Right.
was meant to be everybody else's story, then they'll be able to tell my story.
Yep.
But nobody's able to tell my story but me. For many to see me and don't know my story, and then once I open up to tell them my story, it's like, what? Are you serious? And it's like, yeah, but behind that, I don't want you to give me sympathy. I want you to see what God's doing with me and you to take a chance on it and see what he can do for you. I'm human. I am. Just like everybody's human. So don't judge me. But I know he's doing something for me that It's building me. It's molding me. It humbled me. It startled me. It did, but it
Mhm.
woke me up. And that's the whole purpose of my foundation. I give my all. If I don't get a dime or get help, I put my all into that foundation because I know all that was taken from me. I put all into that foundation because I know what I was stripped of for me to go and do. And I know it's some moms and families who have sat back and just have went without or missed out because you don't want to be judged. You don't want to be called out. Oh, girl, she got this or she got that. And that was the purpose of my foundation because I felt that way. Cousins' birthday parties, I didn't take my kids. I stayed in the house. And I wish a million times that I went back. And I appreciated them times because he now showed me why I should have. He gave me them for that reason. He wanted me to show them off to the world to say I created them in a unique way. It was nothing a doctor could do to fix them. It was nothing mom only could talk to me to keep life upon them kids. And when I knew enough was enough, he did what he had to do for me, them, and he kept me while doing it. Hardest battle to get through and to fight with, not knowing if it's God sitting on my shoulder or if it's that voice that's saying, "Girl, go ahead, go ahead, you gonna be all right. It's good." To a point that I literally had to crowd and be like, "God, is that's you talking to me that way? That feels so surreal. Like, am I really supposed to take that road?" And when I don't get that answer back, it's like I'm questioning the wrong thing again. Cause you know, he wouldn't tell you to take your life. Wake up and get back to what he's telling you to do. And it's easily to get distracted. It is. It's easily to lose focus the first time a person throws something negative your way. Cause you want to do it. You want to be so positive to it, but yet that person will bring you down. And it's like this time, no. I put this story in front of you for a reason.
Mhm.
Go for it. Let the world know.
You know, when I first heard your, when we first sat down and we talked, um, I said again, God know what soldier to handle what battle, and sometimes we don't understand it. We are all built different for different reasons and different things, and God built us for it. Uh, for a mother to have to bury four children and then bury the father, then the father of the children to pass, and to be willing to accept, still be willing to accept the assignment. And that's the thing. We don't know what God has for us to endure to get to the assignment, the finish line. We don't know all that we're gonna have to go through. I say it all the time when people say, God, you can use me, God, you can do this and that, but we don't understand that God uses us according to his will, the way he wants to. And we don't understand that sometimes. Um, there's the special angel foundation, like I told you, that's gonna bless a lot of people. I have a nephew that's artistic, and I know the struggle that my mom and my brother have. Um, he's high functioning. Let me say that, but it's still, it's still a battle that you have to
Mhm.
endure. It's still a battle. It's still a battle, and you watch people. And when you came in my office and we sat down and we talked, and I said, God, this story got to go out to some mothers. It's some mothers that's going through some situations just like this. That going through such a tragic storm, but then got that devil that's sitting on her side that's saying, "Go ahead on, kill yourself. You'll be all right. They're gonna be all right. They don't really need you." And you battling. I say it all the time. It's like a cot. cartoon where you see the devil on one side and God is on the other, and you're trying your best to figure out who voices who, because by then you're mental. It's here. So to dig yourself from a place of darkness, it's nothing but God got to get all the glory. God's hands is on your life, and that's why I told you, uh, your mission and your purpose is for these mothers out here. Even if their child is not artistic, but they're single mothers struggling. They need to hear a word. They need some hope. They need to know that even in the midst of all of this, I still can make it, because I'm telling you, your success story is a success story for somebody else. It's gonna pull somebody else out of a dark place. It's gonna pull somebody else into a better place within them. It's gonna make them think twice before, oh my God, I can't do that. I can't allow the enemy to cause me to kill myself because of my kid. Because I got somebody else. I have somebody else depending on me to live.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And that was the hardest part of juggling with burying three babies, well, four babies, and having one still here. And juggling with wanting to be with my four babies and leave my daughter behind.
Wow.
That was the biggest thing that I fought with for a long time. Some days I could be normal, and in a blink of an eye, it was she'll be all right. She'll be good. She with her grandma. She all right. Your mama them will take care of her. She got family. She gonna miss you, but I mean, she'll grow up successful. She'll be okay without you. And then realizing you'll crumble her world
Mm-hmm.
without you.
Mm-hmm.
So the more that you have driven into listening to that voice to say, do it, drive into something positive to show her why you won't do it. Hardest thing. But when I seen her face, when I created the foundation, it was everything. It was life for me all over. Because it was like my mommy is actually pushing. My mommy is trying through everything that we've been through. My mama is still giving me hope that is life. And my daughter is to be 8. Her mind is sharp. And of course, we talk about God together. We pray. And she told me, this was another confirmation one day. She said, Mommy, Junior, Mally, Mackenzie, and Jamarion and my dad, they all right. These were her words. And she said, I know they all right. We just got to be all right to get where they are.
Wow.
It took a lot out of me not to break down right in front of her face, because it was like I've been looking for that confirmation. I've been
Mm.
looking for that sign to just know that they were okay. And the whole time it was sitting beside me. I said,
Wow.
well, how do you know that? She said, because they come talk to me in my sleep.
Wow.
I got jealous. I said, well, God, I'm the one here lost. Why I can't talk? Why I can't run? And she looked at me and she was like, but they want you to know that they all right. I
Wow.
went to myself, had my moment, and leaving from having my moment, he said it just as plain to me, because you're not ready. If I allowed that, you wouldn't let go. If I
Mm.
allowed you to felt that, you're gonna hold on even more. So I gotta let you want that and find a way to deal with it a little bit better before I give you that.
Wow.
And that relies back to my foundation. When I did the first event, to have the moms that brought the kids that did have, little ailments, it felt like my kids' presence was right there with me. And so many moms didn't know my energy was off of that. I wanted that because that's what I wanted to feel. I wanted to feel my kids again. And the way of doing it was bringing these kids out for the world to love on them, not just me, because loving these kids is a different world. They'll teach you something.
Hmm.
They'll teach you things that if you took the time out to learn, you'll be amazed that this 4 year old or this nonverbal baby can teach you. My 4 year old, they told me he couldn't hear. I couldn't believe it because my 4 year old had learned how to listen for his papa footsteps in the
Wow.
house, and he would get quiet. So once that he knew them footsteps, when that man hit the corner, his face would light up. But this is a baby you told me couldn't hear.
Wow.
This is
But
a
God.
baby that you told me couldn't pronounce words. But before he left here, he knew how to say bye bye and dada. That was his favorite lines. So when people get around me and complain about their life or complain about something so small that they could fix, I know they look at me like, oh, why she had to come down on me? Because if I could have gave my life for my kids, it was no questions asked. But that's not what God wanted for my past. He
Wow.
wanted my story to be told combined with my kids' story.
So with the special needs special angel, excuse me, the special angel foundation, I know you did an event last year. We're coming together and doing the back to school bash here in Franklin, at Lord, what's the name of the place? I
The
forgot.
the annex building.
Annex building, yes. Pastor Bo, yeah. We're coming together and we're doing the back to school bash at the Annex building here in Franklin. And of course we are opening it up for all mothers to bring all children there. And I'm so thankful. Like I'm so godly thankful to be a part of this now, because when you push this foundation forward, with as it expands and as it grows, and for those who want to um partner in with Alex, and those who want to send in donations to help with her foundation, because tell me your vision for this thing is to just do different events for the kids. I mean, let them know your vision, because I believe
My
that.
vision for this foundation is to be successful of being a resource to the community, being a resource to helping families. My vision for this is to even one day have that building where you could come by and, you know, see where the effort is put in and have a day center where special needs babies, it's going to be an open house resource to the community where we give back and we help the community. I want to be from here to California. If I got to get on a flight 24 hours to be over there to help a family in need there, that's my vision. I want to be able to help all over.
So we're gonna go, you know, stay in prayer for this building, for your foundation, because it's like a little hub. To me, I see it as a hub, a place of security, a place where the families can bring their kids and know that they're gonna be okay and they're gonna be taken care of and they can be loved. A place,
Even
because
if mom just need an hour, if she
yeah.
need 30 minutes to sit in the other room and just cry, to have somebody there just to listen to the cry, to have somebody there just to and not judge her, or she feel like somebody go call CPS on her, or for her to express her real feelings and be able to say, look, you see where your kid is, your child is found, you take that breather that you need. You do
Almost
what
like
needs to
Alexis'
be done
house.
for you first as a mom. Because I know as a mom, sitting in that bathroom just to get a 5 minute break because my kids had seizures. So it was a little hard at first to introduce my family to keeping my kids and knowing that they seized and, not knowing what to do. So as a mom, it was hard to even want anybody to keep them, whether it was my mom or not. I felt as a mom I needed to be there for that seizure.
Wow.
So I didn't have time to be away from them. Or if my mom called me and said my son had a seizure, or grandma called to say my son had a seizure, I gotta get there because I need to know what type of seizure it was. And that could be so overwhelming. And you feel like you don't have nobody. You feel like nobody understands.
Wow. So the house would be like a respite house where you can bring them there, bring the kids there, and just that's nice. That I'm telling you, and it's necessary and needed. So, like I said, if you got any type of any way that they can maybe cash app you or pour into your foundation, give to your foundation. I mean, because this is the thing. We know that it's a need. It's a need. It is a need, and the hardest thing is to help people go, make sure that that need come to pass, or make sure that that need succeed. And the only way to do that is for us all together, a community, a people, a family, is to get together and begin to build what we need. We
Yes.
have to build what we need, because if we don't build what we need, and then we have these mothers who go, who do, like I said, commit suicide, mothers who walk away from their kids, mother who give their kids away, mother who don't understand what their next minute, second, hour gonna do. I mean, we have to have a safe haven for them. Like I said, like a little, I can like a hub. We gotta have a place where the kids can go, but to get the love. But we need a place where the mothers can go to be resuscitated, to get back, to get some of her back. So
Hmm.
this is necessary and needed. So my prayer is that God begin to open the doors up and bring people to put your name on people's heart and in people's mouths, to make this building come into fruition, to make it come to pass. And like I told you in the office, anything that I can do within the will of God, I'm on it. I'm on it because I know it's a need, it's necessary. I know that there's some mothers, even the fact that we talked about having I know we talked about the meet and greet on the other side, but I can see a meet and greet for mothers that's dealing with kids with special needs. I can see a meet and greet. I see going to different cities and different towns and talking about it and telling them your experience, your life story, and mothers asking questions. So I'm gonna push you. Y'all, you do know that I'm gonna push you. I'm not gonna let you stay stagnated, because this is something that God has placed upon your hands, and it's something that has to be done. It has to be done. It has to be done. We gotta stop allowing things to fall to the ground, wither to the ground. Our very success, our very life depend on we pushing and making sure the missions on the assignment that God had placed upon our hands. We got to make it come into fruition. We got to walk into it. It's already there. It's just us walking into what we are called to do. So we
Yes,
can
ma'am.
definitely keep you in prayer. And your daughter, yeah, I met your baby girl. Oh yes, I totally agree. Very, 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 very intelligent. 8 year old. You wouldn't even think she's 8 years old. Her stance. Even the way she sits in a room, her presence in a room much more than an 8 year old. But again, you guys, this is for those who just Alexis Lewis. She's the founder of the Special Need Angel Foundation. And I'm telling you her story. Once I heard it, it just touched my heart. And I said, yes, we got to put this out there. We got to let some mothers know, because you got a lot of mothers that have experienced loss of a child. And they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to make it. Some of them can't even get themselves out the bed. Some of them are still stuck. I mean, dying daily But to hear a story of a mother who lost four kids and their father, that's a story of hope that can give
And
the
that's
next
the
person
reason that I
hope.
want to advocate. I want to, I'm not a person who read a book or went to school and gonna sit in front of you and try to judge you from this book. I'm a person who is now writing the book. I've been through it. So I don't want you to feel like, well, you got to come to me with a mask on to cover up who you are, because I'm not going to come with a mask on of who I am. My story is open, it's there. I don't mind telling it, because if I can help you to understand who God is through me, then I'm more than happy to do it.
Again, I thank you. I thank you so much to be a willing vessel to get on and tell your story. Uh,
I thank
because,
you.
because, like I said, it's such a powerful story. And then, let me tell you something. A lot of people, we blame God. And sometimes, and because I've done it myself, I'm gonna be, I keep it on 100. We blame God on certain things, right? And then somehow or another, this thing, it works itself out, and we begin to understand God's the things that He did in His movements. But to take four hits, maybe five hits, and to stand firmly and say, "Listen, I heard God, I trust God, and I believe God." That right there is so much power and it's evidence for somebody else to know that God is real, that he, He's Abba Father.
He is. They tried me for four different medicines, wanted me to do a psychiatric ward, and I told them no, I can't do it. The nurses was looking at me like, what? So I can't do it. I feel like that's why I will lose my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stick this one out, and I'm gonna listen to what I'm supposed to listen to. I'm not gonna let medicine dictate which way this journey is supposed to go for me.
I'm telling you, that's your story is just a blessing. I mean, it's encouraging. It's encouraging. I have a sister who lost two children. I told you that in the office. And I always say, I admire her strength. I admire her strength. A lot of people tell me I'm strong, but I always say you got to meet my sister. Cause my sister has strength that I just don't even know if I would have. Um, and then when I heard your story, I'm like, oh my God! Like if I could just get these two women in a room together on a platform and begin to tell their story and begin to tell the mothers who's still in a bad headspace that yes, you're gonna have some good days, you're gonna have some bad days, you're gonna have some trying days, you're gonna have some crying days, but do know you can get through those days. That's the
And
most
those days when he put you in that moment, this is where people get lost at. When God puts me in the moment, some days I can't even get out of the bed. Can't even touch the phone. Don't want to touch the phone. If it gets to a point that I can't handle it, I'll call my mama to try to veer me back, or I'll call somebody to veer me back. But before I do, it's those moments where it's that cry out to him just to guide me again, because I'm losing it. I don't know which way I'm going. I need you to track my feet again. And by 7 or 8 o'clock at night, I could get up just like at 6 o'clock in the morning, like I didn't even have that day.
wow.
I could get up, put eyelashes on, get in front of the phone, and what you been doing all day? Just like nothing ever happened.
But it's just making it through that moment.
Because it comes. And when it hits, it's like a wave. When it hits, it's no telling how it's going to hit you. To have to even be a mom who buried her daughter's father and have to pull that weight of her not having a dad. I can't even begin to know how my daughter feels because I have my dad. But I just know I ask God all the time just to direct me in ways of keeping my daughter's heart, keeping my daughter's mind. And once again, when I say talking to him, just like talking to you, if I'm there and he knows that I'm there, it'll come to me riding down the road. Long as I can keep your mind steadfast and she see it through you, then I know I have her on the right track too.
That's good.
If you fail, then you'll fail her. And you can't do that. So I keep the smile, I keep the laugh, I keep the being joyful and coming up with the different things because through her that little girl comes back and tell me, "Oh, I enjoyed that event, mommy. Can you come up with another one?" Or I had fun with this one, and it's like, okay, I get it now. I get what you're telling me to do. And rest in peace to Miss Maxine. Miss Maxine Nyland set me down and she said, "You know why you can't keep friends? You know why you can't keep people around you?" She said, "Because you're mission driven. When you're mission driven, nobody can be around you
Mm-hmm.
because you have a mission to do something that only you're set to do."
Yep.
And I just, I live off of that now to actually push with the strength of you as well to push with this vision because this vision wasn't something that I sat down and just drew up and thought about and said, "Oh well, I'm gonna do this for the money. I'm gonna do this for the this." I do it from the heart. If it takes every dime in my pocket, I do it.
And, you know, that's how I am with surviving our broken pieces. I heard a lot of people say, "Well, why you don't ask for a donation, and why you don't ask people to do this, and why you know you can get this and you can get that." And I said, "You got to understand, it's not about the money.
It's
As
not.
long as God make sure that I make the money to make sure that this vision come to pass, then that's what I do. It's not. I mean, it's just not pride. It's just the fact that this is something that God has placed on your hands, and you don't want to mess it up. You want to make sure, and when God begins to connect people with you, He will. That you'll know that that's the right person. You got to be careful because you can't be because people will contaminate what God's trying to do through you.
That's
They
the
will
truth.
they will mess around and try to sow discord between you and what who people God has placed in your life. See, you got to be careful with this baby because it's just like birthing a baby out your womb. This baby is coming out your womb. This baby is you birthing it from God,
Yes, ma'am.
and you got to be careful. Just like when you have a newborn baby, everybody can't be holding them, and kissing them, and hugging them. You can't let everybody hold this baby. You can't let everybody touch this baby. You can't let everybody speak over this baby. You got to you got to guard this baby because this baby is the future of a lot of women and men. Because even in prayer today, before because I go in prayer before every podcast, and you know you're praying and you're praying God, let this touch some woman need this, some mother need this thing. And then God said, and even in prayer I heard it, no, because this is for men as well. Some men need to know what women go through and what they're going through, you know, by themselves. And then some men are actually going through these things themselves with kids too, because now the men are raising kids just like the women are. So this baby is that you're birthing is for the people of God, the kingdom.
Yes,
So you
ma'am.
got to protect this kingdom baby, this kingdom assignment. It got to be protected at all times.
Yes, ma'am.
So even you know, I have people saying, you know, I messed up. Let me tell you something. I messed up, and I try to connect people to surviving our broken pieces that wasn't supposed to be connected. And I'm gonna say this. When God started revealing it, it was shocker. And that's the same. And I want you to understand, because with the Special Angel Foundation, you got to understand everybody can't be a part of it. Everybody can't connect to it. Um, and it's okay. It's really okay. Uh, but every visionary need ladder holders. You need, and God will give you people that will hold your ladder to make this vision come into fruition. But you got to hear God when you connect these people to this baby. You got to let Him tell you, let Him guide you. Because I'm telling you, it's such a need. We have to help our young mothers, our
Yes,
older.
ma'am.
We got to help our ladies. We can't
Yes,
allow
ma'am.
our ladies to keep dying. We can't allow our ladies to lose themselves and start doing stuff to their mental mind, to their body, because of what they're going through mentally, and they don't know no other way.
Yes,
When when,
ma'am.
when you when you when you in a bubble and you don't know how to pop that bubble, you just stay right there. You stay right there, even if it means you're doing hurt and harm to yourself. You stay right there because you don't know how to get out.
Yes, ma'am.
But I'm telling you, you're evidence. You are evidence that God can, and that God will. You are evidence.
I am. I'm here to say it. I am. As much as I ran from it, I am.
Yeah.
And I'm not running no more. I'm here to tell the story and be an advocate for the next one. Because I know how hard it can be. I know from even down to with my foundation, I at least wanted to reach out to different hospitals because I know staying in the hospital, there were times where family is tight for them just like it's tight for me. So staying up at that hospital and not having, I want to be able to do care beds and take to the hospitals and drop them off. Even down to teaming up with CHKD or VCU where you could be like a sitter for parents. You can go sit
Mm.
with their babies because I know me, I didn't leave my children's side. When the doctors used to come in the room, they'd be like, "You got everything in here but the kitchen sink, right?" Because I don't trust nobody with them,
Wow.
and I know how it can be. Sitting in that hospital is almost like sitting in a jail cell, not leaving that room, just looking out that window, watching the nightingale land and watching the nightingale go back out. But I know, long as my baby see my face, this is it. To actually have had somebody who would have showed face when mama couldn't get there or when grandma couldn't get there to say, I'll sit here for an hour, and actually you feel that love and care from that person to sit with your baby. That's something that I looked in on and I was like, I can't, once my kids passed, it was like I can't sit on that and not speak on it, not advocate for that. If I could give an hour or two to a mom who just need to go home to check on their other babies, because that's something I fought with so much. And with one of my kids going into the hospital with COVID, my daughter couldn't come up there.
Wow.
My daughter could not come. She could not. So I had to fight to try to get a paper signed that she could come because I wasn't going to leave my baby.
Wow. That's, you know what, that's good. And I I think oh my God, that would be so wonderful. Have you called the hospitals? Have you talked to anybody about it?
I haven't because, of course, with building up the nerve of having PTSD from dealing with those
Yeah.
hospitals, it's like I now have built that courage up to go back because it was so many memories that I've left there with my
Yeah.
kids. It was hard, but I've always told the doctors that I was coming back in some way.
Well, just let me know, and I'll make myself free, and I'll go right with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Because like I said, I believe in helping people go to their pushing them to their full potential in
Yes,
God.
ma'am.
So you just let me know when you're ready, and I'll clear my schedule, and I'll make sure that I'm available to go with you. You just let
Yes,
me know.
ma'am.
So I'll wait for that phone. I'm expecting a phone call.
I got you.
So again, y'all, this is your girl G from Surviving Our Broken Pieces. This is, excuse me, Alexis Lewis, the special founder, the foundation, the founder of the Special Angel Foundation. I don't know why I keep saying that. The Special Angel Foundation. We have teamed up together here in the city of Franklin to do a back to school bash. Um, we have a couple of ladies that's gonna do some braiding some children hair for free for the back to school bash. We need some barbers, some men to come out that's willing to give up some time to cut this, the young men hair. And let me say this: our event, we need people that's willing to donate their time, to donate their service. We need people on deck that's willing to volunteer some time during that day. It's August the 26th. From 11 to 1, we're gonna have the kids getting their hair done, whether it be braid or cut. From 1 to 4, we're gonna have the entertainment. But we need bodies. We need willing participants to come in and to come join in with us to be able to help take, somebody handle the bouncer house, somebody handle the hula hoops, help handle the games, somebody help us out there on the grill and try to get the food out to the kids. So we need some hands on deck as well. So if you can just be willing to give your time, we will be great. We're very appreciative of it. If you want to donate to the foundation, listen, it will be a success. I mean, it will be. Let me say it this way: to donate to the foundation, I'm telling you, it's a prosperous donation because you're building up bags for mothers who's in the hospital who may need it, whether it's water, snacks. We got personal hygiene, stuff like that. These bags are needed for them. So if you can donate to the foundation, um, but please come out on the 26th. Come out, be willing to help us out with the event. If you want to donate to the event, by all means, you can. Time especially, we really need people to donate their time. We really
Yes.
really do need that. And we need some men that's gonna come out and cut hair for us as well. So I mean, if you can do it, we greatly appreciate it. We thank you already in advance. Before we
Yes.
close out, I'm gonna let you go ahead on and say what you want to say, then we're gonna close out on Surviving Our Broken Pieces.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And as she said, your time, we would appreciate it. Donations, your body itself coming out there would mean very much to this event and to these kids. And if you're ashamed, you can personally talk to me. However you feel need to want to do it. Just come out and have a good time. Bring your babies to be
Absolutely.
loved on, and you be loved on and get a laugh as well.
Absolutely. I'm encouraging Miss Lewis to go live at least once a week and drop a word of encouragement on her page. I told her to tag my page in so we can share it on my page as well. Because like I said, you got a word for some mothers. You have a word. And
I
even
got
some
you.
children, even some kids that have lost their parents, that's a still for hope for them as well. See, this is all around the board type of thing, so it's necessary and it's needed. So drop something every week. I'm gonna hold you to hold the fire to you to that, and
I
tag
got
me
you.
in it, okay? And
I
whenever
got
you want to go to the hospital again, let me know. I'll make my time available for you so we can go. I mean, we could go together just to be your pusher,
I
okay?
got you.
All right, this is your girl G from Surviving Our Broken Pieces. You guys have a blessed, prosperous night. Thank you again so very much for willing to tell your story, your testimony that God did it again. That God did it again.
Thank you so much.
All right. We have you guys have a blessed, prosperous night. Again, I thank you guys for all what you have done. This is your girl G, surviving our broken pieces. You guys have a blessed night.